Hello, I'm Lauren Grossman and I practice medicine at Stanford. My dad grew vegetables for a living, and I grew up appreciating healthy food and loving to cook for my family and friends. When I became a doctor, I soon learned that many of the most common medical problems could be reversed or at least diminished with changes in eating style. And now, with long COVID, we see that food truly is medicine. So all viruses can be very inflammatory, and COVID is one of the most inflammatory of all that we've seen. What is inflammation? So your body's normal response to injury or infection, and the immune system will act to try to heal the wound or fight infection. And it's easy to see when it's outside of your body, as you see in this diagram below on the left. When you have a redness or swelling or tenderness, that is inflammation. But when it's on the inside of your body, it's a little harder to see. And some examples include shortness of breath, some muscle aches, headache, or sore throat, which I'm sure many of you have had at one time or another and are very common with COVID. So COVID can also cause things that are a little less understandable: fatigue, some brain fog, headache, changes in smell and taste, maybe a sore throat, heart palpitations, poor digestion, and a whole array of other symptoms. So is there a cure? Unfortunately, not yet, but there is a lot that can be done to heal and regain health. But I will say prevention is always the best medicine. So how do we attack the symptoms? It's really best to do from multiple directions. And one of those directions is how we fuel our body. So this influences inflammation, and individuals we know with poorly controlled diabetes or have overweight issues or cardiovascular disease, for example, may not recover from COVID as well as others. And that's in part due to this inflammation that we know comes in part from how we fuel our bodies and what we eat. So our eating style, once again, can help reverse some of these problems. So what is that way that we're going to talk about? It's the anti-inflammatory style of eating that can help prevent and reverse the effects of COVID. It can also help prevent high blood pressure and heart disease and diabetes, even some cancers, and depression, dementia, and pain from arthritis. The anti-inflammatory style of eating will also contribute to a healthier environment for our communities, country, and the world. So what is that anti-inflammatory style of eating? It's similar to the Mediterranean style, which you may have heard of. And actually, the people who live the healthiest, longest lives in the world happen to live in Mediterranean countries. So we've learned a lot from them. And it's a lifestyle. It's not actually a diet. We want to eat more vegetables, fruits, and whole grains. We can include some sweets, which we'll talk about. And it can be low cost and easy. So this is the healthy eating plate, and it's a good visual to have on how you should design your meals, with a large quarter being vegetables, a smaller quarter of the plate being fruits, another quarter being whole grains, and we'll talk about these, and then another quarter being a healthy protein, and along with healthy oils and plenty of water. So just to go back to sweets for a minute, I don't want you to think that I'm going to tell you to cut out all those delicious things that many of us love. And as you can see on either side of this slide, we have brownies and brownies with ice cream. And if we think about flipping that a little bit and having maybe berries or other fruits being the center of the dish with maybe a little bit of chocolate on top and maybe even a little bit of whipped cream, it can be really satisfying and very, very pleasurable. We don't want to eat a whole plate of meat focused as the main event of the plate, but rather, as we see in these other two photographs that aren't crossed out, we have some meat with a plate full of vegetables that are beautiful and colorful and nutritious, and the other one as well, which has more cooked vegetables. But you can do salad, you can do other vegetables. So it doesn't mean you can't eat any red meat either. It's just thinking about it a little differently than we usually have in the past. So there's some great examples of recipes on the web. This one link, I'm sorry if it doesn't show up well, but it's from Eating Well magazine, and it's called, Diet on a Budget with Anti-Inflammatory Recipes. And this photo on the left is a picture of the recipe of the sweet potato and bean enchiladas, which looks really pretty yummy. And then on the right is a kale and banana smoothie, which is also pretty yummy. And I will say that greens in a smoothie really don't taste like vegetables. So it's a good way to get more vegetables into your day. So do cook at home, do keep it simple, enjoy the pleasure of fresh food and seasonal foods, enjoy beautiful food with family and friends, and know that you're doing one of the most significant things you can do to promote a long and healthy life. So food should still be a pleasure to be embraced. And I put this piece of cake in here so we don't forget that a piece of cake or your other favorite dessert for special celebrations is just fine. So to summarize, COVID is very inflammatory, and choosing an anti-inflammatory style of eating will help you prevent and reverse the long-term effects of COVID-19. Thank you.